You should be grateful I even chose you. Without me, you're nothing. Just a nobody pretending to belong in a billionaire's world. She'll never fit into this family. Just look at her. A nobody trying to marry into billions. I heard those words slice right through me, every syllable heavy with judgment and disdain. Loud enough for every guest to hear. Louder still in my own chest, where shame and anger wrestled for space. At the Hawthorne table, I was invisible until I was a target. Mocked, dismissed, labeled as unworthy of the life I was about to enter. But here's what they never understood, the thing they'd never even suspect. My silence wasn't weakness. I wasn't just a bride standing on the edge of someone else's empire. I was power in humility, wealth in disguise. And when the time came when that $950 million deal they'd built their future on hung in the balance, I shattered their delusions with a single word. Sometimes, the ones you mock are holding your whole future. Sometimes, the woman you look down on can bring everything you built to its knees. That's my story, a bride who turned shame into power and left a billionaire family speechless. And now, I'm finally ready to tell it. Start to finish. They never try to hide their contempt. Victoria Hawthorne, Daniel's mother, sat at the head of the table, chin high, her voice just loud enough for everyone to hear, especially me. She'll never fit into this family. A nobody trying to marry into billions. Chloe, Daniel's little sister, leaned in, smirking. It's cute, though. Cinderella for the press. Too bad it won't last. Even Daniel played along, laughing a little too easily, calling me his little project while everyone else snickered into their glasses. I felt my cheeks burn, my hands clench around my napkin, but I refused to break. What none of them could ever imagine was that I wasn't clawing my way up from nothing. My last name was Wyndham. My fortune? Quiet, old, and vast enough to buy and sell the Hawthorns 3 times over. But I kept it a secret because I want to be loved for me, not my bank account. So I endured. I played along. I told myself Daniel would defend me. He'd remember the man he used to be. Dinner went on. Laughter and clinking glasses. And more questions, so. Emily, what was it like growing up with nothing? Chloe prodded, eyes cold and bright. Must be overwhelming. Sitting here with us. Victoria sipped her wine. How does a girl like you end up in Daniel's world? Daniel just shrugged. She was unexpected. My little project. And everyone laughed. I wanted to stand up and announce who I was. I wanted to throw the truth in their faces. But I stayed quiet, clinging to hope, clinging to the memory of a man who used to love me under the stars. He led me onto the dance floor. Cameras flashing. Orchestra swelling. We looked like a fairy tale couple. Cinderella and her prince. Daniel smiled for the cameras, bent close and whispered so only I could hear. You're my charity, Emily. Don't forget that. My heart flinched, but I didn't let it show. Not then. The night dragged on. Later, I slipped out onto the balcony, desperate for air, desperate not to cry. Daniel followed, glass of champagne in hand. His words cutting, don't sulk. Emily, it doesn't look good. My voice shook as I asked, why didn't you defend me? Why did you call me your project? He just brushed it off, it's just talk. Don't take it so seriously. And then, for a split second, I saw a flash of the man I loved in his eyes. But it faded fast. You should be proud, he said. You're unforgettable. From the outside, we were perfect. Every magazine cover, every charity gala, every staged interview. Daniel held my hand in public and let it drop in private. He called me inspiring, the girl who came from nothing. But in the penthouse at night, he barely looked at me, scrolling his phone, brushing off my exhaustion with a cold. People don't want tired. They want inspiration. I told myself it was stress, the company, the press. But deep down, I was starting to realize something was wrong. One night, I overheard him on the phone, his voice warm in a way I hadn't heard in months. You know I can't stay long. Yes, I miss you too. I walked in, my heart in my throat. He ended the call abruptly. Who was that? I asked. No one. Business. But I already knew. Isabella. His ex. The one his family wanted him to marry. Elegant. Wealthy. Everything I supposedly wasn't. Victoria visited the next morning. Let's be clear. Emily, you're here for the story. That's it. Convenient things never last. My pride screamed at me to walk away, to reveal who I really was. But I couldn't, not yet. Days blurred into weeks. The pressure grew. At the rehearsal dinner, Chloe accidentally spilled red wine down my pale blue gown. Daniel just smirked. No one offered comfort. The laughter stung worse than the stain. I retreated to the hallway, pressing a shaking hand to my chest, whispering to myself, hold on, just hold on. But that night, I finally admitted the truth. The love I'd clung to had only ever been mine. Alone in our apartment, I confronted Daniel. Why are you doing this? Why do you let them treat me this way? He looked up from his drink. You need to remember your role. You're the story. Emily, the common girl who married a billionaire. People love it. That's all you are. That's all you've ever been. The words cut deeper than anything before. The next night, as guests filled the ballroom for the pre-wedding reception, Daniel was all charm, all smiles, the crowd hanging on his every word. He pressed a pen in my hand, signed gracefully, "This is what you're here for." That $950 million deal, the one that would save the Hawthorne empire, hung in the balance. But I finally found my voice. My name is not Emily Carter, I said, the whole room holding its breath. It's Emily Carter Wyndham. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The investors nodded, confirming the truth. She's the sole signatory on this contract. I looked at Daniel, his face drained of color. You never married a poor girl. You never rescued a nobody. You were never the prince in this story. Daniel, you were the project. Mine. I set the pen down. I don't sign contracts with men who mistake cruelty for love, or arrogance for power. This deal is canceled. The room erupted. Investors stormed out. Phones buzzing. Reporters shouting. Daniel, once untouchable, begged, pleaded, tried every word that would have worked on me before. But I saw him now, clear as day, desperate not for me, but for his survival. You're not begging for me, Daniel. You're begging for your empire. I left the ballroom with my head high, my pride finally intact, my silence finally broken. By morning, the Hawthorns were ruined, stocks plummeting, headlines blaring, the empire in ashes. All I left behind was a single truth: respect costs nothing. Without it, even empires fall.